And before you know it, you let that compounding cash flow compound on top of itself, and you're gonna have financial freedom before you know it. This is what I tell people. You can literally compress a 40-year traditional retirement plan, and you can compress that into 10 to 15 years at the most. I would say 10 years for most people, right? I call it a retirement rescue plan, because I can't tell you how many people I talk to that are 50, 55 and older that don't have enough money. They know they're up the creek without a paddle. There's no way they're going to hit their retirement goals. They're either going to have to keep working and pray their health holds out, or they're going to have to take a step backwards for standard of living. Nobody wants to have to deal with or worry about any of those things. Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and for this video, I want to talk to you about the 9 stages or 9-step process to reach financial freedom. Now, I know 9's kind of a weird number. I should probably figure out a way to make it 10, but I'm not all about, spiffing things up to make them more than they need to be. I think 9 is the number, so we're keeping it at 9, right? So, first and foremost, when I get into this, this is something that's really important. It's something that I'm including in my book, the Cash Flow Hacking book that's coming out, and look in the description below. You'll be able to go to cashflowhacking.com and be able to check out that book. It's coming out within a couple weeks. It's going to be fantastic. But what I think is really important to understand with this is that as you go through this journey, I'm not saying you have to start at the beginning. Everybody who's watching this video may be in a different place. Likely, most of you are in a different place. But I guarantee all of you, every single person watching this video is at least at one of these stages at some point in time. So this is all about helping you get from one stage to the next. And I'm going to walk you through as briefly and quickly as possible. And if you want to learn on a deeper level, make sure you get the book, Cash Flow Hacking book, and make sure you take the Cash Flow Hacking Challenge, which is launching March 1st, and we're going to go from there. So without further ado, I should say, let's get into this. So first step that you need to do is you need to seek clarity. Now, I know that seems really basic, and it is, and it's basic for a reason. Most people are not clear on where they're trying to go. Anything, if I'm a big believer, anything measured improves, right? And we need to know where we're trying to go, what we're trying to accomplish, because if you don't have a plan, you'll reach it every time. It's kind of like if I'm going to drive from, where I used to live in Vermont to Arizona, where I live currently now, I better understand, I got to have clarity about where I am and where I'm going. And if I don't, there's zero chance I have of getting there. If I don't have a map, if I don't have a GPS that can guide me there, and I don't know exactly where I am and where I'm going, I don't even know what direction on a compass to try to drive, right? So chances are, if I were to get where I'm trying to go, it's going to be complete happenstance and luck, right? So I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to set myself up for success. And so what does that mean? What does success in this context mean? Having clarity around this means I need to understand where I am. I need to understand what my goals and objectives are. And I need to understand what's holding me back. What's holding me back, and what is that ultimate metric that I need to reach? So I call it a freedom number, right? You need to get clarity around what your freedom number is. So this is a big, big thing. I've talked about it a lot in some videos. We need to stop thinking about retirement. We need to start thinking about financial freedom. And what financial freedom means is simply when you have enough passive income to replace your living expenses, you're free. I'm not saying you're going to retire. I'm not saying that you're going to stop working at all. I'm not going to say anything specific. Everybody's got a different life. We would probably handle this a little differently. But what I am saying is that when you have enough passive income to cover your lifestyle expenses and your living expenses, you get to show up differently in this world, and it allows you to get there. So before anything else, you need to have clarity about what is your freedom number, right? When you have clarity on that, now you can actually start to put a plan together to get there. So the second thing you need to do, once you're clear on your freedom number, once you know where you need to go and you have that all mapped out, the first thing you need to do is evaluate your debt and see, what do you have for toxic debt? And by toxic debt, I mean any debt that is a higher interest rate than, say, 4 or 5% in today's current interest rate and fixed rate environments, right? By the way, this will fluctuate. What is considered toxic debt has nothing to do with the interest rate you're paying, but it has everything to do with the fixed market, what you can earn on a guaranteed basis on income versus what you pay for money. Money always has a cost to it. There's always an opportunity cost for every decision that we make. I'm not going to get into that. That's not the point of this video. However, it is important to understand that this number, while I'm saying 4 or 5% right now, that may be different. If you're watching this video 2 years from the time I'm filming it, this may be a different number. It may be a little higher, it may be a little lower. I don't know. But you just need to look and understand the rules of the game around you, understand the cost of money. And what I'm saying to this is you need to look at your debt, figure out what is toxic. And toxic debt is anything that's costing you more than you can earn on your money, right? If we use debt for investment purposes, that can be a good thing. Real estate people understand this probably better than anybody. Business people understand this greatly as well. People like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman have bastardized this concept, and they've scared people out of debt, getting people to believe that all debt is bad. It's not true, but I am a big believer that I agree with them that you shouldn't have a lot of toxic debt, unsecured debt, high interest credit card debt, or high interest, even secured debt like a car loan that you're paying 7, 8, 9, 10% on, right? A lot of people do that. It's actually mind-blowing how many people pay 8, 9, 10% on their car loans, right? So that is something to understand. The second thing you do once you have a clarity on your freedom number, you need to pay down your debt. And that is like, before you do anything else, you need to make sure that that debt, which is the biggest leak in your financial world, it's the biggest sieve that you have in your personal finances, you need to plug the leaks before you fill the bucket. That's the biggest thing. So this paying down that debt is all about plugging the leaks before you go on. So the third thing that you need to do is, once you have the leaks plugged and once you have your debt paid down, now you have to save money. Now, I'm a big believer. You want to save before you invest. This is a huge, huge thing to understand, is that you need to save your money before you invest. And the reason for that is because when you save, you're not taking on risk. And by saving, you're building the foundation of your financial life. You should not invest money that you can't afford to lose until you have a foundation of savings in. Now, the other thing that I would say is you want to save money with the intent of investing, right? Preparing yourself for the right time. I always tell people the market is cyclical. It's not linear. So it goes up and it comes down, and it comes down way faster than it goes up. So by saving during the up periods and waiting for this downtime, you want to save in an account that you have liquidity, use, and control of, that's guaranteed, that you cannot lose capital in, right? And when the market timing is right, you can buy assets that are depressed in value. And because access to capital is king in those markets, you're going to be able to capitalize on that, and you're going to be able to create more opportunity for you. And those returns that you get in those investments when the timing is right are going to far outperform anything anybody around you is doing. So while you may feel like you're losing by saving, because I'm a big believer, Robert Kiyosaki says it, savers are losers. He does say that, and I do agree with that. However, you need to start by saving to set the foundation. Long term, you don't want to be a saver, but you want to position yourself by building the foundation by saving with the intent of investing. Now, the fourth thing is that you want to invest in education. You want to invest in mentorship. You want to invest in yourself, right? You want to invest in your knowledge, because here's the biggest thing. The biggest reason people lose money is they invest in things that they don't understand. I'm not a big believer in the stock market. That's me. I know enough about the stock market, but I'm not a person who loves to day trade, right? I'm not good at that. I don't want that. So I'm not going to get involved in something that I don't understand. I love doing what I do on the whole life side. I love real estate. I love business. I love doing things like that. I want to invest my money into things that I understand, that I can control. If you're a mechanic, I would say put your money into your business, put your money into fixing and flipping cars. If you're a carpenter, fix and flip houses. That's your skill. That's where the greatest return on your money. There's not a stock in the world that's going to outperform what you can do with your trade, with your skills, with your expertise, right? So, but here's the deal. A lot of people maybe don't have those skills or expertises. So before you get into, really putting your money into anything, invest in yourself, invest in your education, mentorship, anything of that nature. If you decide that stocks are the thing to do for you, day trading is the thing to do for you, whatever it is, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not into that, but I'm not here to judge. If that's what you want to do, the only thing I implore you to do is go out, get the mentorship, get the education, invest in yourself. That investment that you make in yourself before you go into doing it and putting your hard-earned money, you should never invest in anything you don't understand. So that education is going to get you to the point where you can understand, you can make more educated decisions, and therefore the results that you get from those decisions will be much more compounded and amplified in a positive way. It's going to get you where you want to go on a more predictable basis, and that's what this is all about. All right, so the next thing that you need to do is invest in cash flow assets. Now, I know I said last one that I'm not going to judge anybody for anything, but here's the big deal. When we talk about freedom number, your freedom number has nothing to do with like some big million or 2 million or 3 million or 5 million or $10 million number, which I know those sound big, but for most people, you need way more than you think. But and it's really impossible to get to where you want to go when we think about the fact that most people are planning 30, 40 years out into the future. And how do we plan for something 30, 40 years out into the future when the biggest variables that have an impact on the success of your financial life, like inflation and political environment, economic crashes, corrections, so on and so forth, we don't know when or where those are going to happen, right? We don't know the value of the dollar. We don't know all these different things. These all have an impact on what we're going to need our money to be valued at, to be able to give us the lifestyle that we want. Because let's face it, you don't care if you have $10 million or $1 million. What you care about is the lifestyle that provides you, right? $1 million back in 1912 is way better than $10 million today, right? So it's all relevant to what's going on in the world around us, what that purchasing power of that money is. So what I talk about is creating cash flow. So whatever you do, I encourage you, the next step to do, once you understand, you have the education, you have the savings, when you invest for cash flow. Don't invest for buy and hold long-term assets. Invest for cash flow, because you can measure short-term cash flow. It can create a better lifestyle today. It can give you more control. It can give you more tax benefits. I'm going to get into exactly all that, why I think that's the case. I think real estate is the best way to go as far as this goes, because you get great cash flow, you get great tax benefits, you get all sorts of things going on with it. Once again, get the cash flow hacking book when it comes out in a couple of weeks, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We go through all that stuff, right? So invest for cash flow. And then what happens out of the gate there, I would say the next step after this one, once you invest for your first cash flow asset, like I said, you can use it for lifestyle if you want, but I would encourage you not to use it for lifestyle. Have that discipline. Allow compounding to take effect, because that's the next step. Take that cash flow, continue saving like you're saving, and take the cash flow that you're getting from that asset and let it compound. Let it build, let it build, let it build, let it build. And then when you have enough, it's going to compound and shorten the time to your next cash flow property, right? Like I'm going to use real estate in this example for this conversation. So it'll shorten the time. Like if it took you 4 years to save for your first property, it'll probably take you 2 years to save for your next property, right? And if it took you 2 years to save for that property, if you just keep investing the cash flow from both of those properties, it'll take you less to get the third, less to get the fourth, less to get the fifth. And before you know it, you let that compounding cash flow compound on top of itself, and you're gonna have financial freedom before you know it. This is what I tell people. You can literally compress a 40-year traditional retirement plan, and you can compress that into 10 to 15 years at the most. I would say 10 years for most people, right? I call it a retirement rescue plan, because I can't tell you how many people I talk to that are 50, 55 and older that don't have enough money. They know they're up the creek without a paddle. There's no way they're going to hit their retirement goals. They're either going to have to keep working and pray their health holds out, or they're going to have to take a step backwards for standard of living. Nobody wants to have to deal with or worry about any of those things. So that what I'm telling you right now is that if you're 55 and you have any kind of money, anywhere to get started, and you're feeling like you're kind of helpless right now and you don't know how you're going to get to where you want to go, this program, get my book, Cash Flow Hacking, it's going to show you all about how to get there. And I hope you serve from that. So read it and then get back with us, and I can connect you with one of our people that can help you. So the next step on the journey is you reach your freedom number. That's the beautiful thing, right? You will have enough properties, you'll have enough cash flow coming in passively every single month, right? And this is the beautiful thing. Once you hit this point, you're free. You're financially free. Think about that. And when you reach this freedom number, right? When you get there and you have this freedom, you've achieved lifestyle freedom. It allows you, and that's the next step, is this lifestyle freedom. Like you hit your freedom number, and now you have lifestyle freedom. And when you have lifestyle freedom, it allows you to show up differently in your life. It allows you to be the best version, the most powerful version, the most impactful version of yourself that you could ever dream of being. Now, here's a big thing. I heard a guy named Chris Brady say this a long, long time ago. And he said, people way underestimate what they can do in a decade, and they way overestimate what they can do in a year. So my encouragement to you is, like, I can tell you, looking back a decade ago, I thought the same things when I first got into the industry about 12 years ago. And I got into this industry, and I thought to myself, like, wow, I would never be able to get up and talk like that. I would never be able to do a video like that. I could never present like that. I would never be comfortable. I thought that about myself. I thought I could never have these different things in my life financially. I just couldn't imagine it. But my thinking was wrong. That's why on the back of all my Life 180 t-shirts that I don't have on right now, it says change your thinking, change your actions, change your life, because it all starts with your thinking. And if you can just make incremental changes, if you could just improve by 0.5% every single week, right? Just 0.5% by living intentionally. That's what Life 180 is about, living intentionally for excellence, LIFE, right? And so when you look at that, right, and you really break it down and you say, wow, if I could just improve 0.5% a week, then my life could be completely different in a year or 2 or 3, right? And you'll look back in 3 years, you won't even recognize who you are, right? So we all have these dreams, and what I would say, don't undersell your dreams. Go for those dreams. Sell out for them. Just go full bore, go after them, and realize if you couldn't fail, what would you do? What would you put out there to the world that you would want? And I encourage you to live intentionally to go get them. You know what I mean? And while you may not think you can do it, I really want to encourage you that I know you can. I've been there, I've lived it, I've done it. I see it every single day with people that we help, and I know you can get there. And I would love it and be honored, no matter where you are right now, to take part in this and to allow us to be part of your journey and reach out if you have any questions. So, the reason I'm so excited about this is because I just believe it's our job right now in this world. The world's in rough shape, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of chaos going on, but I believe it's our job for our kids to leave this world better than what we inherited. And I can tell you for the first time in my life, for the first time in generations, this is the first generation where we're genuinely looking at the circumstances being like, I think most people around us are like, whoa, this is definitely not going to be better for my kids. I don't know about you. I have 3 kids under 10 years old. That scares the crap out of me, right? It just does. It scares me to death. And I'm not okay with those results. And I think we all have a responsibility. And I know if everybody in the world would just be intentional about the way they live their life and follow this process and just be intentional about how they handled their money, the biggest problem right now is financial slavery, financial servitude, and too many people, I should say, not everybody, but too many people leaning on the government to hold their hand and take care of them. And we need to take self-accountability for our results. And I know this is a plan, and following this process is a way that every single person can get there. So if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comment section below. Whether you like this, whether you didn't like it, give me it either way. I take criticism pretty well. So hope you found value in this. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, share this out with people, click that bell, that way you get notified every time I launch a new video, and give it a like if you found value in it. That's one of the greatest ways that you can help me out. But till next video, I hope you found this valuable. I hope you have a blessed, inspirational day, and we'll talk soon. See ya.